Imagine this. You're a self-made millionaire living the Miami dream. Waterfront mansion, beautiful wife, 2 kids who think you're invincible. One night you walk out of your deli and suddenly you are zip-tied in the back of a van by men you used to tip $100 for spotting you on bench press. For the next 29 days, they don't just want your money. They want to break your soul. Mark's own words. They told me, "We're going to kill your wife and daughter if you don't smile while we film you signing everything over." I smiled. God forgive me. I smiled. That smile still haunts him 30 years later. Daniel Lugo wasn't just a criminal mastermind. He was a walking black hole of envy. Every Rolex he saw on someone else's wrist felt like a personal insult. He'd stand in the Sun Gym mirror flexing next to rich clients and whisper to himself, "That should be me. I'm the doer. They're the don'ters." He genuinely believed that millionaires were weak, that real men simply took what they deserved. So, when he saw Mark Schiller, this chubby, cheerful Colombian immigrant who'd built a deli empire from nothing, something snapped. To Lugo, Mark wasn't a person. He was a piñata full of everything Lugo had been denied. The torture warehouse in Hialeah wasn't some dark basement. It was a brightly lit, air-conditioned storage unit with mirrors on every wall, so Mark had to watch himself being destroyed from every angle. They played the same Tony Robbins tape on loop while they burned him with a lighter, starved him for days, made him drink toilet water. Noel Doorbell, this 5'5" ball of steroid rage, would scream in Mark's face, "You are nothing. You're weak. Sign the fucking papers." Mark told investigators later that the worst moment wasn't the physical pain. It was when they brought in a Polaroid of his daughter at school taken that same day. "Next time we bring her here instead of the picture," Lugo said, completely calm. Mark signed everything. House, cars, offshore accounts, even his kids' college funds. Then they tried to kill him anyway. They got him drunk on purpose, put him in his own Toyota 4Runner, smashed it into a pole, poured gasoline everywhere, and lit it. Mark burned over 60% of his body, crawled out of the flames like something out of hell. They saw him moving. So Doorbell ran him over. Twice. Left him dying in a pool of his own blood and gasoline. He woke up in the hospital 3 weeks later, weighing 98 pounds. Doctors said it was medically impossible he survived. Mark says something else kept him alive. "I heard my little girl calling Daddy in my dreams. I wasn't going to let those animals make her grow up without me." But the gang? They moved into Mark's house. Through pool parties. Lugo fucked prostitutes in Mark's marital bed while wearing Mark's robes. They posted up in his home theater watching Scarface on repeat, laughing about how they were living the real version. That's when the monster got hungry again. Frank Grieger was everything Lugo hated. Self-made, loud, flamboyant, and genuinely happy. Hungarian immigrant who came to America with $500 and built a $10 million phone sex empire. He drove a yellow Lamborghini, dated a stunning Hungarian model named Christina Furton, and didn't give a damn what anyone thought. Christina wasn't just beautiful. She was the light in Frank's life, the one person who made him want to be better. They were planning to get married, talking about kids. Frank told friends, "She's my angel. For the first time, money doesn't matter." May 24th, 1995. Lugo and Doorbell invite them to Doorbell's apartment to discuss investing in their new business venture. Frank shows up in his Lamborghini, Christina in a red dress that makes her look like she stepped out of a dream. Within 20 minutes, everything goes wrong. Frank gets suspicious, words are exchanged, and suddenly Lugo smashes a heavy glass ashtray into the back of Frank's head. Christina screams this blood-curdling animal sound that neighbors later said they can still hear in their nightmares. They tie her to a chair and make her watch while they beat Frank to death. Then they turn to her. What they did to Christina Furton is so evil it makes hardened detectives cry retelling it. They injected her with horse tranquilizer again and again, trying to get Frank's safe codes. She kept whispering, "I love you, Frank," as the drug burned through her veins. Her last words, according to Doorbell's own confession, were, "Please, just let me die with him." They chainsawed the bodies in the shower while listening to Gloria Estefan. dumped the parts all over the Everglades like garbage. Fishermen found Christina's head months later. Her mother in Hungary had to identify her by the dental records. She still keeps Christina's red dress in a box and takes it out every year on her birthday. Mark Schiller, broken and hiding in Colombia, got the call about the new murders. Something ignited in him pure righteous rage. He came back to Miami, hired the only private investigator crazy enough to believe him, Ed Du Bois, an absolute legend, and spent every remaining dollar hunting these animals. When the police finally raided, they found Lugo living in the Bahamas under the name Tony Riviera, throwing parties on a yacht he'd bought with blood money. He was arrested wearing a silk shirt and a smirk. That smirk didn't last long. Lugo and Doorbal are still on Florida's death row 30 years later. Lugo has spent decades writing manifestos about how he's the real victim of weak society. Doorbal got religion in prison and cries every time Christina's name is mentioned. Mark Schiller wrote a book called Pain and Gain, The Untold Story. He ends it with this line: "I forgave them a long time ago, not for their sake, for mine. But I will never stop telling the truth until those monsters are dead." This wasn't just a crime. It was the day Miami learned that the American dream can turn into its darkest nightmare when broken men decide they're entitled to steal someone else's happy ending.